Part 1. Intro. Section 1. A life cut short Tupac's legacy. Tupac Shakur, a name synonymous with revolution, passion, and raw talent. He wasn't just a rapper, he was a poet, an actor, a revolutionary. Tupac's life, though tragically cut short, left an indelible mark on the world. He channeled his experiences into his music, his lyrics a potent mix of anger, hope, and vulnerability. He was a cultural icon, his image on murals and t-shirts, his words quoted like scripture. His music tackled social injustices, police brutality, and street life with unflinching honesty. He was a force of nature, a once-in-a-generation artist who connected with people on a visceral level. Section 2. The voice of a generation. Tupac's music was a raw and unfiltered reflection of his reality. His lyrics were gritty, often painful, but always honest. He spoke about poverty, racism, and violence with an urgency that demanded to be heard. He wasn't afraid to challenge authority or expose hypocrisy. This fearlessness made him both a target and a hero. He empowered listeners, particularly young black men, to embrace their voices. His music became an anthem for the marginalized, a source of strength and inspiration. He gave a voice to the voiceless, shining a light on injustices. His lyrics were a call to action, urging listeners to fight for a better future. But Tupac wasn't all anger and defiance. His music also explored themes of love, loss, and vulnerability. He could be tender and introspective, revealing a depth and complexity. He rapped about his struggles, hopes, and dreams, making him relatable to millions. Section 3. A legacy shrouded in mystery. Despite his massive success and cultural impact, Tupac's life was tragically cut short at the age of 25. Gunned down in a drive-by shooting in Las Vegas, his death sent shockwaves throughout the world. The official narrative, a tale of gang rivalry and senseless violence, left more questions than answers. Conspiracy theories swirled, fueled by the circumstances surrounding his death and the unanswered questions that lingered. Even in death, Tupac remained an enigma. His unsolved murder became a cultural obsession, the subject of countless books, documentaries, and conspiracy theories. The mystery surrounding his death only added to his legend, further cementing his status as a cultural icon. But the unanswered questions also served as a painful reminder of a life cut short, a talent silenced too soon. Part 2, Act 1, The Night in Vegas. Under the Vegas lights. The desert air hung heavy with anticipation on September 7, 1996. Las Vegas, a city built on spectacle and illusion, braced itself for a different kind of show. Mike Tyson was set to fight Bruce Seldon at the MGM Grand. Among them, Tupac Shakur, fresh off a triumphant MTV Video Music Awards performance. He exuded an aura of invincibility, his presence impossible to ignore. Accompanied by his entourage, Tupac arrived at the MGM Grand. The air crackled with excitement. This was a night where anything could happen. Section 2. A Night at the Fight. Inside the MGM Grand Garden Arena, the atmosphere crackled with energy. The roar of the crowd was deafening as Tyson made quick work of Seldon. The crowd erupted, and for a moment, the tension seemed to dissipate. Tupac, seated among the glitterati, joined in the celebration. After the fight, Tupac and his entourage descended into the opulent lobby. A confrontation erupted near the casino floor. Orlando Anderson, a known Crip gang member, was spotted by Tupac's entourage. The altercation, brief and brutal, spilled out onto the casino floor, security guards struggling to contain the escalating situation. Tupac, caught in the maelstrom, was pulled away from the melee by his bodyguards, the tension palpable. The decision was made to leave the MGM Grand, the night's celebratory mood irrevocably shattered. Tupac, along with Suge Knight, the CEO of Death Row Records, climbed into Knight's black BMW 750IL, ready to escape the chaos of the casino. As the car pulled away from the MGM Grand, heading south on Las Vegas Boulevard, it became clear they were being followed by a white Cadillac. At a stoplight on Flamingo Road, just a few blocks east of the Strip, the Cadillac pulled up alongside the BMW. Suddenly, gunshots shattered the night. 4 shots rang out, piercing the metal and glass of the BMW, the air thick with the smell of gunpowder. The impact of the bullets sent the BMW careening into a nearby intersection as the Cadillac, its occupants cloaked in darkness, sped away into the night. Inside the car, chaos reigned. Tupac, struck multiple times, slumped against the seat, his lifeblood staining the plush leather. The scene that unfolded next was one of chaos and confusion. Police cars and ambulances descended upon the scene, sirens wailing, lights flashing, cutting through the darkness. Tupac, critically wounded, was rushed to University Medical Center, his life hanging precariously in the balance. News of the shooting spread like wildfire through the city, then the nation, and finally, the world. A collective gasp of disbelief rippled through the music industry, fans refusing to believe the news. How could this be? How could Tupac, a larger-than-life icon, be gunned down on a Las Vegas street? It seemed unfathomable, yet the reality was undeniable. A narrative of silence. The police investigation into Tupac's shooting quickly hit a wall. Witnesses, many from Tupac's entourage, were uncooperative. The Las Vegas Police Department faced a complex web of loyalty and fear. The official narrative was frustratingly simple: a fight gone wrong. Orlando Anderson became the prime suspect. Too many questions remained unanswered. As days turned into weeks, the lack of progress fueled speculation and conspiracy theories. The music world mourned the loss of an icon, but the circumstances left a bitter aftertaste. How could a star of Tupac's magnitude be gunned down in broad daylight, and yet his killer remained free? The investigation raised more questions than it answered. Was his death a result of the escalating East Coast-West Coast rap rivalry? Or was it a tragic case of being in the wrong place at the wrong time? The official narrative, already fragile, began to crumble under the weight of scrutiny. Journalists, amateur sleuths, and fans alike began to poke holes in the police's version of events. The more they dug, the more inconsistencies they uncovered, casting further doubt on the official story. Conspiracy theories flourished, each more elaborate and outlandish than the last. Some whispered that Tupac had faked his own death, tired of the pressures of fame and seeking refuge from the violence that plagued his life. Others pointed fingers at rival rappers, record executives, or even government agencies, weaving tales of jealousy, betrayal, and hidden agendas. While the theories varied wildly, they all shared a common thread: a deep-seated belief that the truth about Tupac's death was being suppressed. The lack of closure, the unanswered questions, and the seemingly impenetrable wall of silence surrounding the case only served to fuel speculation. Section 4. Whispers and Rumors. The music industry, known for its cutthroat nature and shadowy dealings, became fertile ground for conspiracy theories. Rumors circulated about record label rivalries, unpaid debts, and power struggles that had turned deadly. Some whispered that Tupac had become too big, too powerful, and had to be silenced. Others pointed fingers at the notorious Suge Knight, the CEO of Death Row Records, alleging that Tupac's death was a calculated move to boost record sales and solidify Knight's grip on the rap world. Knight, known for his intimidating presence and alleged ties to organized crime, became a central figure in many of the conspiracy theories. The truth, however, remained elusive. Lost in the labyrinth of rumors, speculation, and half-truths, the facts surrounding Tupac's death became increasingly difficult to discern. The line between fact and fiction blurred, leaving behind a legacy shrouded in mystery and unanswered questions. Part 4, Act 3, The Unseen Hand, Why the Truth Remains Hidden. Section 1. The Walls of Silence. The streets of Las Vegas, built on secrets and whispered deals. Witnesses, connected to Tupac's world, remained tight-lipped. Their silence, woven from fear, loyalty, and distrust of authority. The no-snitching code became an impenetrable barrier. Loyalty to Tupac trumped cooperation with law enforcement. Breaking the code invited retribution. Distrust of police added to the complexity. Loyalty and fear, the code of the streets. Beyond police scrutiny lay a more visceral concern: retaliation. Tupac's world of music industry power struggles and gangland rivalries operated on different rules. Speaking out invited danger, not just for oneself, but for those closest. Witnesses knew the stakes and often chose silence. Silence was their shield against becoming another casualty. The unwritten code dictated internal matters were handled internally. It protected its own, even if justice remained elusive. Section 3. Protecting the legacy, preserving the myth. In the years following Tupac's death, his legend grew, fueled by the mystery surrounding his demise. He became a mythical figure, frozen in time at the height of his fame. For many fans, Tupac was more than just a rapper. He was a symbol of hope. And so, the silence persists, protecting not just the guilty, but perhaps the legacy of a fallen icon. Section 4. The truth, elusive or inconvenient. The passage of time has done little to quell the speculation surrounding Tupac's death. The official narrative remains unsatisfactory, fueling conspiracy theories. What if the truth is far more complex, far more inconvenient? Uncovering the truth might expose uncomfortable truths about the music industry. What if the silence is about safeguarding powerful interests? Perhaps the truth, like Tupac's music, waits for the right moment to be heard. Part 5. Act 4, The Why, Power, Fear, and the Price of Truth. The shadows of power. The music industry, a world of dazzling lights and cutthroat ambition, casts long shadows. Tupac was not just an artist, he was a brand, a movement. His influence made him both a valuable commodity and a potential threat. The East Coast-West Coast rivalry placed Tupac at the center of a maelstrom. Was his death a tragic consequence of this feud, or a calculated move? Section 2. The Price of Truth, Lives Lived in Fear. For those closest to Tupac, the price of truth might be too high. The individuals who could potentially identify his killer, who could provide the missing pieces of the puzzle, often lived in a world where silence was not just golden, it was essential for survival. To speak out, to cooperate with law enforcement, would be to risk not only their own lives, but the lives of their loved ones. The threat of retaliation, from powerful individuals or organizations with much to lose, loomed large, casting a long shadow over the investigation. The streets, where loyalty and retribution were often two sides of the same coin, held their secrets close. Witnesses, fearing for their lives and the lives of their families, chose silence over cooperation, perpetuating the cycle of fear and uncertainty. The lack of closure in Tupac's case, the absence of a definitive answer, fuels speculation and fosters an environment where conspiracy theories thrive. But what if the truth, as some believe, is not a shadowy cabal pulling strings from the shadows, but a far more insidious and pervasive force, a conspiracy of silence? This conspiracy is not orchestrated by a single entity, but by a collective fear, a shared understanding that some truths are too dangerous to unearth. It thrives on the silence of witnesses, the reluctance of authorities to delve too deep, and the public's insatiable appetite for mystery. It is a silence that protects the guilty, shields the powerful, and allows the truth to remain buried beneath layers of speculation and doubt. It is a silence that speaks volumes, whispering of a truth too dangerous to be told. Over 2 decades have passed since that fateful night in Las Vegas, yet the questions surrounding Tupac Shakur's death remain. The official narrative, riddled with inconsistencies and unanswered questions, satisfies no one. The whispers persist, the theories abound, and the truth, like a phantom, continues to elude us. This lack of closure gnaws at the edges of his legacy, casting a long shadow over his music, his message, his life. Fans, forever denied the satisfaction of seeing justice served, grapple with a potent mix of grief, anger, and resignation. The wound, though old, refuses to fully heal. Each year, as the anniversary of his death passes, the calls for justice resurface, a poignant reminder of a life cut short, a truth left buried. The passage of time may have dulled the edges of grief, but it has done little to quell the desire for answers, for accountability. Tupac Shakur's legacy is a complex tapestry woven from both triumph and tragedy. He was a musical genius, a cultural icon, a voice for the voiceless. His music, raw and unflinching, gave voice to the frustrations and aspirations of a generation, transcending geographical boundaries and cultural differences. Yet, the silence surrounding his death threatens to overshadow his achievements, leaving a bitter aftertaste. The unanswered questions, the lack of accountability, tarnish the image of a man who fought tirelessly against injustice, only to become a victim of it himself. How can we reconcile the revolutionary spirit of his music with the cold reality of his unsolved murder? How can we celebrate his life, his message, without demanding justice for his untimely demise? The silence, deafening in its persistence, feels like a betrayal, a disservice to the man and his legacy. The pursuit of truth and justice in Tupac's case is not just the responsibility of law enforcement, it is a collective obligation. It is a testament to his enduring impact, the power of his message, that we continue to demand answers, to refuse to let his case fade into obscurity. We owe it to his memory, to his family, and to ourselves to keep asking the uncomfortable questions, to challenge the official narrative, to hold those in power accountable. We must demand transparency from law enforcement, encourage witnesses to come forward, and refuse to let the passage of time erase the possibility of justice. Tupac Shakur's life and death serve as a stark reminder that the fight for justice is ongoing. It is a fight that requires vigilance, persistence, and a refusal to accept silence as the final answer. The search for truth in Tupac's case is a journey without a clear destination. It is a journey fraught with obstacles, dead ends, and the ever-present possibility of disappointment. But it is a journey worth taking, not just for Tupac, but for all those whose lives have been touched by violence and injustice. The truth, however painful, however inconvenient, has the power to heal, to bring closure, to hold those responsible accountable. It has the power to shatter the silence, to dismantle the structures of fear and complicity that allow such injustices to persist. Until the truth is revealed, until justice is served, the legacy of Tupac Shakur will remain incomplete. The music will continue to resonate, his words will continue to inspire, but the shadow of his unsolved murder will forever linger, a testament to the enduring power of unanswered questions and the enduring human need for truth and justice.